This is you. You are an amazingly complex organism, made of trillions of tiny living things called cells. A cell is the smallest unit of life that can reproduce and make new copies of itself. The life of a cell can be shown in a pie chart like this, called the cell cycle. Most of a cell's life is spent in a stage called interphase. During interphase, the cell grows and performs its essential tasks. It will also copy its DNA in preparation for the next step. The next step of the cell cycle is called mitosis. During mitosis, the cell will divide, giving one of the copies of its DNA to each of the cells it creates. These two identical cells are called daughter cells. The process of copying the cell's DNA so that the identical daughter cells can be formed is called DNA replication. Replication means copying. During interphase, a cell needs access to its DNA because DNA contains sections called genes that provide instructions for making everything the cell needs. To access the DNA, it must remain unwound in a big mess like you see here. However, before mitosis, the DNA gets coiled up into a more organized form called a chromosome. The DNA will then be copied during DNA replication, and you end up with a chromosome that has two identical sets of DNA connected together. This is still considered one chromosome, but the identical sides are now called chromatids. During mitosis, the chromatids will separate, with one chromatid going to each daughter cell. Every human body cell has 23 different chromosomes. However, since they actually get one set from each parent, the real number is 46 in each cell, with two slightly different copies of each chromosome in the cell. A cell with two full sets of chromosomes is called a diploid cell. If the cell only has one full set of chromosomes, it would be called a haploid cell. Most genes and chromosomes in a given cell are not needed at any time, because a cell only uses the genes it needs to do its unique tasks in the body. With each cell having different active and inactive genes, each cell can perform unique tasks. Cells that are specialized for a certain task are called specialized or differentiated cells. All specialized cells originally come from a special type of cell called a stem cell. A stem cell is unspecialized or undifferentiated. It can produce cells of any type through mitosis. These cells then become specialized through a process called differentiation. Once a cell is specialized, it can only create specialized copies of itself. Skin cells can only make skin cells. Nerve cells can only make nerve cells. Stem cells are mostly found in the earliest stages of development, right after an egg has been fertilized. But even adults have a very small number of stem cells in certain specific parts of their bodies.